What's up, meatbags? I am the often imitated, never duplicated Tony TGD, and this is Gabbing with Geeks. As you can see, it is episode 1, the new era. It is a new beginning for the show. Joining me is Blinded Braille, Days Gaming, and of course, Gary. What's up, gentlemen?
What's going
What's up?
on?
What's going on?
Uh, so, before we get to it, I want to remind you to like, share, subscribe. And if you're following us on the brand new podcast, it'll be on anchor.fm. We'll drop a link, let you know. You can follow us on Twitter, and I'll, of course, let you know when it's live. But before we get to that, we want to know, how was your week, Blinded?
Uh, it was pretty good. Okay, I had reading week, so I didn't do much. Just play games.
Sounds good. And Gary, how about you? What you been up to?
Oh, not much.
Great. And Days Gaming. I know you had an interesting week. What's been going on with you?
Oh, my week's been good. Worked all week. I got the next 2 days off, so I'm looking forward to that. Yes, I had a fun night last night. My son turns 13, and they had a little party. And they wake up, or my wife comes out, and the my recliner is busted on the floor. So that's been something I've been dealing with.
I always gotta love it when kids break things.
Yes. I don't think Gary liked my story. Oh, he's back.
No, I was dealing with the kids over here. I had a naked 6-year-old running around the
Oh
the
my!
house about ready
Geez.
to get in the tub. So that's why I gave you such a short answer.
Yeah, good.
And as for me, my week was going so fantastic. As you know, we had a couple of visitors last week. We had Smash JT. We had Keemstar pop up in the chat. That was always interesting when things like that happen. I mean, this is the biggest little YouTube channel out there. Everybody who's anybody knows us, but we just barely got under 500 subs. Today, right before the show started, and part of the reason why we're late was because Sidekick Max's laptop broke, just completely fizzed out. And that aggravated me to no end because, you know, it's pretty new. It's like a year old. He claims he wasn't doing anything and it just died. And when children do that, it aggravates to no end. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
rather you tell me that you were tossing it across the room, right? Because then I would like, okay, I could kind of figure out how to fix it. But when you're just like, I don't know what happened. The magic elves came in and made it turn off, and so I had to deal with that. Then turns out his screen is cracked. He claims he told me because kids always say they told you. I told you. Don't you remember? I told you the thing was. No, you didn't. You didn't tell me nothing. Right? I didn't know it was broken. And if you did tell me, and I didn't yell at you, then I wasn't paying attention when you told me.
Yeah.
So a little bit on edge. Uh, but I mean that's pretty much it for the week for me. Everything else has been going good. Now, you're probably wondering about this new show format that I have here on the screen. What's it about? What's going on? And if you're listening on podcast, you're probably also wondering why is this episode 1? You've probably heard that the show has been going on for almost a year now. Well, we're going to do things a little bit differently from now on. We're going to do things a little bit more streamlined. We trimmed the fat. We're dropping a lot of segments that we're just adding on to time for no reason, things that were unnecessary. The games have been cut out, unfortunately, due to the fact that they require you to actually see them visually. If you're listening on podcast, it's not gonna translate. So we are doing this in a more podcast friendly style. So that's going to mean that there's going to be a lot less visuals. We're not going to be watching trailers. We're not going to put up too many things for you to look at. If we do put up something, we're probably not going to talk about it. It'll just be there for anyone who's actually watching it or watches it later on YouTube in the clips. That way, everybody's hearing the same information. Whether you're listening to it through YouTube or you're listening to it through the podcast. So that is changing. Also, what we're going to do from now on, if you are listening to this on YouTube, following us live after the show, we're going to do a little Gabbing with Geeks after show. And that is going to be the format that you're used to, wacky hijinks, silly games, people hopping in and out. Uh, Now, if you want to be part of the Gabbing with Geeks, you want to be a guest on the show, you're going to have to get ahead of us, get a hold of us ahead of time, say, hey, I'd like to be on this week, talk about whatever. And we'll schedule you, we'll put you in, we'll pencil you in, figure out a segment for you, what you want to talk about. That way, again, it is podcast friendly. We don't have people jumping in and out. We're not waiting on anybody. We're not worried about anybody's connection issues. So hopefully you guys appreciate this. Hopefully you guys understand how we're trying to do this going forward. We got a lot of new fans, a lot of old fans. We're trying to make a balance between everything. Did I leave anything out, gentlemen?
I think you wrapped it up.
Wrap it up,
Yeah.
Nancy. Also, additionally, if you are watching this live, you're going to notice that the interaction between the chat and the panel is going to be to a minimum. If you say something that is very pertinent, like if you correct us on some information, or if you point something out that we didn't know or we missed, we might talk about it. We might say, hey, so and so said this, and give that information to the audience. But we will not be doing the back and forth like we usually do. Once again, that will be for the after show where we just have fun, play around, joke around. But this is going to be serious. We're trying to be professional YouTubers. I know it's kind of cringe, but hey, got to do it sometime, right? Also, we're going to try to keep the show to 3 hours. That's the max. It's going to be between 90 minutes and 3 hours. Gives us a little window to talk about things, but not really drag it out. Kind of like how I'm trying not to drag this out, but I still can't do it because I just love the sound of my own voice. But I think that's it for the intro. That's it for that segment. And we're going to move right along to the Intellivision Amico news. That's right,
Dun, dun,
gentlemen.
dun.
This is one of the most popular topics on the panel. This is one of the most popular things we talk about. And there's not really much news per se officially. But Nick Richards was in the comment section of Start Engine, and he made a lot of comments, went after some people, blamed the haters. He basically threw in the towel, said, hey, the Start Engine campaign is a bust. Haters have infiltrated the comment section and derailed everything. So last time I checked, there were under $60,000 in funds raised.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It looks like they
Mhm.
they gained an investor, but then they had lost an investor. I think the next day, and it was a little bit more than what the last investor put in. So they're going backwards.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're done.
Mhm.
And we've also learned, as Ninja Kitty had put it so succinctly, they're going to go to mobile. They're going to have micro transactions on the mobile versions. They're going to have games on other consoles. They're trying to go after the board game market. They're removing features from the base console to make a slim / mini / junior version. It's going to have no LEDs, one controller only.
The Slimico.
Basically, it looks like Nick Richards is just throwing anything and everything at the wall to try to get somebody to invest. Like, hey,
Mm.
we're doing whatever it is you want us to do. We're doing it. Just give us money.
Yeah, this is a Hail Mary in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left to go, right?
It is absolutely. And possibly not even 2 minutes. Possibly that this is like 3 seconds left, like a true Hail Mary, do or die.
And it's die.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a few jokers in the comment section. Once again, I'll remind you: do not jump into the comment section of Start Engine or any other platform just to harass people or to try to derail a campaign. They're really good at derailing it themselves. Just leave them to their own devices. Just watch the dumpster fire. It'll burn itself out. Trust
Yeah.
me on this. Tommy Tellerico is MIA still, dealing with personal issues. Phil Adam has made no appearance in Start Engine campaign comment section. So I think this is a wash. I think uh, that's it for them. I think they're going to close shop. Announcement coming soon. Now, supposedly, there's supposed to be an announcement by March 1st. They said give us a couple extra days, March 1st ish. I guess because it's a short month, quote unquote. That's the reason they're giving that they need a couple extra days, which makes no sense to me. I mean, they knew it was a short month going into February when they said end of the month. They knew it was a short month when Phil Adams said by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what do you think the announcement is going to be, gentlemen? What do you think they're going to say?
Well, I've made it clear. I was speaking to Lucky Day, and he seems to think that he's going to grab a couple of these, that they're going to hit the shelves, or they're going to be coming out. I truly think that probably March 1st or March 2nd they're going to come out with the announcement that they are indeed closing up. Well, I don't know if I could say that they're going to close up shop as much as I think that they're going, because it's so weird that they're carrying on with this whole spiel of that they're telling people that they're going to produce these. I truly don't see that happening, but I really do think that they might transition, but they're going to announce that they're just not going to get the consoles out.
I think they're going to. I think they're going to be so desperate to try to salvage something that they're going to announce continuing to delay this further and say that they are going to begin to get some kind of production and to be looking for things. I don't think this is going to be the final. I think it's just going to be more of a kick the can down the road kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I don't think it's going to be as monumental as it's we're done. I think it's just going to be, yes, we're going to begin manufacturing or something, and maybe they're just going to get out those founders editions. Who knows? I think they're going to try to do something.
I mean, do you guys think that they have an ace in the hole? Like they might have a little bit of money that they're not talking about, that we don't know about, to keep them afloat for a few more months? Because from what we understand, that they only have a month or two. Granted that they're still only at $58,000. I just don't. I mean, they could extend it for what would they have? Maybe another month, but by the end of at least March, they'd have to make another announcement that they're folding up. So it really doesn't make any sense to me at this point. What's going on?
Yeah. I think they should probably just release those games that, you know what I mean? Just to like push the console and then put out the games, I guess. Like that's the bare minimum they could do. Anything else would be a failure, in my opinion. It's just embarrassing.
I don't think they could afford it, to be honest. We know that they're claiming that they're going to make it in America, in the U.S., but also Nick Richards kind of revealed that the heat issues, apparently they didn't test them for warm environments, so they're having some sort of issues with the heat, because they don't have a fan. They just have passive cooling. He said something about trying to reduce the footprint of the Amico, make it smaller. The PCB boards don't sound like they're finished, that they're still trying to finalize them.
And on your show, Tony, there really wasn't any vents for any kind of cooling, was there?
No.
Yeah, so I mean, even that might be the only shell that's out in the wild right now. And from everything that I had seen video wise, I don't remember really seeing any vents or any kind of like anything to really cool that Amico down. So yeah, this could be one of their big problems, and why they never really got it finalized.
That shell could really turn out to be a real artifact of this whole thing, if they just the only thing that is released.
The lost artifact of the Amico.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, if that doesn't get released, man, that thing is going to be a definite conversation piece for somebody that will want to own it.
Yeah. Additionally, I believe that they're going to try to make some hand units, handmade units using the old design and just kind of shove them out like you guys are saying. Well, yeah, we delivered like
Founders, yeah.
12 of them. We
Mm.
delivered 12 Founders editions. Don't worry,
To the actual major cult members, each get one. The holy 12.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. Wow.
The
And I
hateful
believe they're
eight.
going to be,
Yeah.
buggy, messed up, probably not
Probably
even
not
worth
even playable. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and I think Gary was saying maybe they might have extra money. Do you think that? I don't think that's legal. I think if they have some money and they didn't put it down on their
And they didn't
SEC
disclose.
documents.
Well, what I'm saying is that maybe they just got the money. Obviously, when they filed that, they didn't have it. But I mean, it wouldn't be illegal to say, "Hey, we just got somebody to."
Oh, an angel
And
investor.
right, somebody to
Yeah.
kind of swoop down and save us a little bit, and they threw $1 million at us, or $2 million. But I just really don't see them pouring any more money into it. To me, it doesn't make any sense. That's why I think this is the final announcement. This is going to be the sorry guys, we really tried. We're not going to be pushing this out, but we are going to try to get these games out in your hands, on your mobile devices. I think that's really all they can do at this point. It just looks grim on Start Engine, and I really don't know where they can go from here.
There's nowhere to go. And realistically, if there was an angel investor, if there was somebody that said, "Hey, we'll give you the money, I'll front you the money to build consoles," we would have heard about it. There's no way they're keeping that quiet. That would have been a big win. They would have came out and say, "Hey guys, you thought we weren't making them. You thought we didn't have any money. Screw you. We got an angel investor." No, the way Nick has been in the comment section, very desperately flailing around, trying to put out fires, calling people haters. I almost think that it was Tommy logged into his account.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
had that. I've kind of had that feeling just from the way that it's been. Obviously, we've had a lot of interactions with Tommy on different channels, and a lot of time in the comment section. So it just always felt to me like that's what was going on. But yeah, I just don't. I don't know what they can do at this point.
It does tend to fit his pattern of behavior, huh? Like when he's some of those comments, you think that does sound like Tommy.
Yeah, like I said, not much news on the Amico front. I know a lot of Amico content creators, pro Amico content creators, have been slinking away. Cyrus has changed his channel. If you're not familiar with Cyrus, a video game virus, he had a channel called Intellivision Amico videos, formerly Joy of Amico. That has now been closed. He's going back to the video game virus channel.
Well, but not only that, Tony. If you've noticed the change in tone, where everybody's kind of talking about them kind of folding up shop, they're like kind of getting around to the point that they even are starting to somewhat admit, not entirely admit that it's not coming out, but they've been talking a lot about it recently, so kind of pushes me in that direction.
Yeah. Retro Bro, who was the #1 source for factual Amico news, has removed it from his Twitter bio. He says he's not talking about Amico right now. Doesn't want people to bother him. Next Level Gaming also does not want to interact with people trying to ask him questions. And of course, as we've seen from videos on this channel, Phil Adam, with his deep roots and connections to Mike Kennedy, I think that's it. I think, stick a fork in them. They're done. Only thing left is the crying. I don't see, even with money, I don't see how they're going to dig themselves out of this PR nightmare that they've created.
And all I can say is from Next Level Gaming's podcast or stream that they did. Just never forget that Phil Adam directly told you and his viewers the Amico was coming out. So if indeed that we get the news that they're folding up shop, that's was a blatant lie on his part, and it's just kind of disgusting behavior from the newly CEO. So either way, it's just kind of disgusting to put people who are wanting to invest, or people who might not have understood what was going on with this from the very beginning. It's just disgusting behavior is really all I could say. For people who are excited about this, I do feel for them at this point, because you're trying to trust somebody, and what can you do when you really do believe in somebody and they're just bold-faced lying to you. I just don't know what to say.
Yeah, it has been a long, strange journey, this Amico thing. Lots of red flags were pointed out, were ignored. I guess when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like normal flags.
Yeah, it's true.
So, people that should have been skeptical weren't. People that were suddenly weren't. It's all very strange. Eventually, I do know, I have it on good authority, that several people are eyeing this Amico news. They're rubbing their hands together, getting ready to make some sort of documentary or YouTube video or something, because this saga needs to be put to paper. It needs to be created and put out there into the world. I will say, if there's ever a fictionalized version of this saga, if there's a movie ever made about the Amico situation, it will flop, because there's no way anybody is going to believe that any of this is real. Tommy Tallarico's behavior, the behavior of people on Atari age, even our behavior, everything just is so surreal, so odd, that there's no way somebody's going to believe that a CEO of a company was jumping into comment sections on small YouTube channels and calling people racist and gaming racist and haters and stuff. Just so I don't believe it sometimes. Sometimes I think I'm dreaming.
It is definitely unreal. But if it's based on a true story, I don't know. Sometimes those true story movies do well. But it would be almost too unbelievable.
Yeah, they would have to tone his behavior down. You'd be like, wait a minute, he was actually much more crazier than what was shown on the screen.
Who would play Tommy as an actor? Who do you think would be good?
What?
Joe Pesci.
What is the dude from Who's the Boss?
Who, Tony Danza?
Yeah. You think Tony Danza would play him?
Where is Tony? I don't think Tony Danza's been in anything for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. It would have to be like a low tier actor. It wouldn't be anyone good, because it would be just like a shit movie. So it'd have to be someone like Tony Danza, or somebody that they just dug out of nowhere, just for like a somewhat of a name recognition.
Only Tommy could play Tommy. They'd have to call him up.
Yeah.
You need like a Johnny Depp, but that's too expensive.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to the eventual movie where none of us are included, because I know for a fact we're all going to get cut out. It'll be like Pat and Ian will be the stars of the movie. They'll be the ones getting all the credit, and people like us will be forgotten.
That's fine. Didn't do this to be in the video, to be in the movie. Just it was interesting to talk about. Felt like it needed to be something that people needed to be made aware of, and we did that. We accomplished that.
Exactly. So if there's any other new Amico news that come out, we'll definitely make a video or jump on a new live stream and let you guys know, because we're always got our ear to the ground for Amico news, and we're always looking to see what we can see, and we're always willing to share that information with you. Moving on now. there was a trailer for Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. Gentlemen, have you seen it? What are your thoughts?
I liked it.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
actually
Gary.
didn't. Well, I actually didn't get a chance to see it. I don't know. Did that drop today or yesterday?
Like a week ago? 2 weeks
Oh, a
ago?
week
maybe?
ago. Then I guess I didn't even realize that there was a. I might have skimmed through it and thought it was the because this is the second trailer, right? Or maybe
Yeah,
I was
it is.
reading
It
Is it?
is the second trailer. I haven't seen the first one, but I watched this one because Tony said we were going to be discussing it, so I wanted to be familiar with it. But yeah, I hadn't seen the first one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was a little short on time, so I didn't check it out. I did read up on about basically what's going on in this one. I definitely think the original Doctor Strange was a great movie. I think out of all the MCU movies out there, that Benedict Cumberbatch was one of my more favorited actors playing like this role. I thought bringing Doctor Strange out was such a great move, and I'm really excited to see where they go with this because it's sounding really good, shaping up to be a good one.
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, it's all these different multiverses and stuff, like everything that that we were talking about with in Spider-Man. They're just really expanding on it, and it looks cool.
I don't know if you guys caught, but in the trailer we had the voice of Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
and
there was
the shadow looks like him, kind of wheeling up in his chair. It looks like there's going to be a council of some sort.
Illuminati.
Yeah, exactly. The Illuminati.
In the comics, you had the Illuminati, but the toy for the new movie says Defender Strange, and there was a
that's variant from some of the leaks because there's going to be multiple Doctor Stranges in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say was there is a version of the Defenders that call themselves the Order and sort of take over the world, and there might be an issue because I know there's an issue with the name Shumagorath. That they had a copyright issue with it because it's owned by the Conan people, I believe.
Yeah.
So they're calling Shumagorath something else, and it doesn't look like he's the same sort of evil. Just kind of looks like he's a, octopus with a giant eye, monster type thing. Not really a big.
From what I understand, it's actually a female.
What was that? I didn't hear you cut out.
It's actually a female, not a male.
It's a chick, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
the voice actor is a. Yeah. It's all right. I mean, it's a squid monster.
I'm sorry, I misgendered the squid monster, but yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a monster, not so much like a main villain, like how people were saying. But like I was saying, with the Illuminati, there might be an issue with copyright, so they might be going with Defenders over Illuminati.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I think it's going to be the Illuminati, but
you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I know because I follow rumors and stuff, and there's reliable leakers talking about this, and I mean, we've all kind of speculated. I did a stream about it. So if you're familiar with the Illuminati in the comics, it's going to be a similar lineup, probably minus Iron Man and Doctor Strange.
Well, they showed.
So I'll leave it as that.
Who else was in it? Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, Black Bolt. Oh, and I guess Namor, minus Namor too.
Well, in the trailer, you can see Superior Iron Man. He's featured quite heavily.
Yeah, some people think that maybe he'll be played by Tom Cruise.
Oh well, that's not a Superior Iron Man. It's Captain Marvel. It's Captain Marvel's friend. I forget her name. Maria Rambeau.
I watched the trailer. I know what people are saying, but to me, that looks like Superior Iron Man. It has the same coloring, the silver color.
There's a high res, and you can see it's a black woman. Like, it's pretty clear it's not Tom Cruise.
Well, I don't think it's Tom Cruise. I just don't think that it's It could be a black man. It could be It could be Riri Williams being Superior Iron Woman. But I don't think
Probably
it's
not.
Marvel.
It's. I mean, the color scheme and the lighting and everything, and it's definitely Captain Marvel. And hey, I mean, you'll see. It's definitely Captain Marvel.
Well, I think we're gonna have to have a bet on this because I'm pretty sure the way it looks to me.
If you want to bet, I'm game. It's Captain Marvel.
Easy money, huh?
Yeah, this is easy.
It looks like there's a blue light coming from the chest area, like the.
If you know Captain Marvel's powers from the movies, the color scheme is very similar, and the whole idea of this movie is multiverse, events, right? So this would be a sort of a what if, like what if Carol Danvers wasn't Captain Marvel? It was Marie Rambeau, right? So,
Or what if Iron Man turned evil? And it's Superior Iron Man.
well, it could
all
be.
sorts of things.
I've heard things about Tony Stark not being in it. I mean, we'll see. Tom Cruise is kind of busy right now, so
Well, see,
I don't know,
didn't
but
say Tom Cruise.
No
okay?
way he turns down a chance to play Iron Man, though.
That was Days Gaming who said Tom Cruise. Okay, I didn't say.
well,
Tom
that's the rumor right now,
That is
right?
the rumor.
Right.
Yeah.
But it could be Don Cheadle's. What if Don Cheadle's became Superior Iron Man? It could be the guy from the first Iron Man movie. What if how's his name?
Terrence Howard.
Yeah,
Terrence Howard comes back.
Yeah, that was weird how they just randomly replaced him.
He's a weirdo. That's why he got recast.
Was
He
it-
wanted
they
more
recast
money.
him because he made the most money in
what
the
a
first movie.
buffoon!
Yeah, he
You're
lost
not-
out.
Yeah, as I say, if you're not
Yeah, that-
familiar with it, Terrence Howard was coming off of a big movie at the time. He signed for $1 million. He was the highest paid actor in Iron Man. Then when Iron Man 2 was coming about, they basically said, "Hey, dude, we got to give you a pay cut, and there's no way you could be making more money than Robert Downey Jr. after
Right.
Iron Man did so well." And he was like, "No, well, you said you're going to give me $1 million each movie. I'm not taking a pay cut." And they're like, "Dude, you're recast. Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
You're replaced.
and I'll be
It was
honest,
pretty
Don Cheadle was like so great for that part. Like Terrence Howard just
Yeah.
didn't fit. Going like watching those movies again, watching the first one and then watching the subsequent movies with Don Cheadle in them. I think he did such a great job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really did.
Terrence Howard is a good actor, though, but yeah, he did a better job.
It was just as fine with Don Cheadle. It's
Well,
Yeah.
well, but
Too
it's just
bad, dude.
sometimes it's just certain actors fit the part a little bit better, and I just think
Yeah.
he just fit the
Terrence
part.
Howard is a terrible actor. Okay, I'm going to say.
Oh my God.
Nah,
Watch the movie.
no,
Have you seen the
No
movie?
hug?
Fighting?
No
No.
hustle and flow, Tony.
no. I disagree with that. No, he's a good actor. He's not War Machine, but he's a good actor.
Watch the movie Fighting. He's terrible in the movie Fighting.
Nah,
Dead Presidents, he's all right in Dead Presidents. I don't think he's a great actor.
About Four
Good.
Brothers.
Not great. My opinion. Any other rumors? I know we got America Chavez is going to be.
yes. If you want me to spill the beans on everything, I could tell you the lineup of the Illuminati.
Well, the proposed lineup, because once again, rumor, speculation, we don't know.
Rumor, speculation. Take it with a grain of salt, but this is the lineup. Baron Mordo, alternate Baron Mordo. Black Bolt from the Inhumans TV show, which is a big shock. Magneto is supposed to be on there. Captain Carter, and obviously I said Marie Rambeau. Who else? Mr. Fantastic, played by John Krasinski, and I think that's pretty much it for like big
I heard that
characters.
also the Hulk was supposed to be an alternate version of the Hulk was going to be on there. Two other people, obviously Professor X.
Yeah, Professor X is. I mean, he's in the trailer. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much confirmed.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure someone said Namor was going to be in the movie, but I don't know.
I'm gonna put X on that. X for doubt.
How old is Patrick Stewart these days?
It's probably like in his 70s, Yeah.
He's got to be almost 80. Here, I'll Google it real quick.
I'm not sure that. I think there's gonna be too much in this movie. I think they're gonna be throwing, way too much at people. Between
There's
all the
also
new
supposed to be a Deadpool cameo. If
Yeah.
you've seen, Ryan Reynolds was dodging the question, and it's pretty clear he's in the movie. So,
Patrick Stewart is 81.
Wow.
wow.
Um, after I was completely wrong about the 3 Spider-Man thing,
Yeah, you were definitely wrong about that.
I'm gonna, hold off
Whoa,
on saying any
And Daredevil too. You're wrong about
Spo-
Daredevil and Kingpin.
Spoilers, guys. Spoilers. No, I'm just joking. That's okay. I kind of knew that I kind of know a little bit about the movie, even though I haven't seen it. Unfortunately, everybody's like tries to talk with their lingo, but it's pretty much spoiled a few things here and there for me.
Yeah,
Like pretty much all the cameos have been spoiled for this movie, but like the plot and ending has been like kind of we don't know. That's the thing.
Well, I have a feeling, and again, this is just me theorizing, but because the trailer had a mention of nightmares,
Yeah.
there is a character called Nightmare.
Yeah.
That is a villain of Doctor Strange. He may have something to do with the movie. He may be in there in some capacity, perhaps the main villain, manipulating things.
I think people are going to be surprised who the villain is. It's Wanda. I know they're kind of like dodging it in the trailer, but it's Wanda.
It's definitely Wanda. I mean, especially if you saw WandaVision. I mean, she's coming off as like a villain. Which
Well, they did have 2 Wandas in the trailer.
Yeah, there's going to be lots of Wanda.
And it's
different
like
ones.
Which one is the real bad one?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a movie that I'm looking forward to. May cannot come quick enough. I'm a huge Marvel fan, obviously. I did like that they had Rintra in the trailer. I don't know if anyone caught that, the green Minotaur-looking thing.
Yes, quick cameo.
Yeah, I saw somebody talk about that.
Yeah. He is an apprentice of Doctor Strange in the comics. Got killed, came back. I wonder if we're going to see other apprentices of Doctor Strange because he has had several of them in the comics. So we'll see. Hopefully, it's not too crazy, not too silly. What's it supposed to be like 2.5 hours long?
Yeah, but most likely it's going to be a long movie.
And any final thoughts there, Gary? Are you going to watch this before Spider-Man, or are you going to wait on this one?
I'll probably end up seeing Spider-Man before this comes out. When is this due out?
May 4th.
Yeah, I think it should be coming to like Redbox soon, right? Spider-Man's got to be.
Yeah, I think it just
release.
got a digital release.
Yeah, so it should be out on Redbox soon. Like I said, I haven't got into Disney Plus lately, so we are slacking on all our Marvel and Star Wars content. So, but I definitely want to see Spider-Man first. I don't think it really matters in the MCU which movies you're watching for. It's kind of like a kind of like Pulp Fiction where you can watch in any order. So
I think in this one you probably should watch the Spider-Man one first, though. Like the way they're really getting into this different multiverse thing. Like I think it kind of helps set some things up.
Well, I'm just saying
usually in the past it doesn't matter, but I think in this time it might be worth watching Spider-Man first.
Like I said, I probably will. At the end of the day, even if there are things spoiled in this movie for Spider-Man, it won't bother me so much. But yeah, I'll try to watch Spider-Man first.
Well, realistically, I think you got to watch What If, WandaVision.
Yeah, I haven't seen What If.
Yeah, I've seen WandaVision. They're definitely setting her up to be the bad. There's no doubt about it. She's been progressively getting more kind of losing her cool with everything.
I was really shocked how much I enjoyed WandaVision because I had never been somebody in the past that had like consumed Marvel content outside of the movies, and I was like blown away. Like, man, this shit's actually good.
Oh, wow.
I was really surprised with who's the actress that plays Agatha.
Catherine Hahn?
Yeah.
She's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
She blew me away in that part, and I didn't see
Yeah.
that coming. I'm not really familiar more with Scarlet Witch's like comics and stuff like that, so
Mhm.
that was the first episode was kind of off-putting, and I didn't understand where they were going with it, but once you got into it a bit, it was really good. It hooked you by like the third episode, and I did thoroughly enjoy that series.
Mm. Well, they're gonna have a spin-off, so if you like her character, you might want to check out that.
Yeah, Catherine Hahn definitely knocked it out of the park. Everyone knew the character that she was playing. There was like no real surprise, but
Yeah.
it was still good. So, really looking forward to Doctor Strange 2. Hopefully, Gary sees it on time. That way we can all discuss it without spoiling it for him.
Even still, even if you guys have to spoil it, I'm not too like, if I see it, it won't ruin things for me. I kind of get the gist of where, most of these movies are predictable.
Yeah.
Even at the end of the day, if I see it, I'll still enjoy it. And if it's a really good movie, it's one of those movies I'll watch, 1,000 times over. So it's not a big deal.
Well, the Batman comes out next week, so I guess we'll talk about that.
I will be honest.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that goes to Wikipedia and reads the synopsis, like the dates. I'm going to go to the movies, but I already read everything that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm like that too.
I try not to be. I try to get let things just hit me in the movie, so I'm not ready for it. But sometimes it's hard to be that way.
I'm just too curious. I got to know, and if the information's there, I'm going to read it. I'm just can't control myself.
I was like that. I was like that with the third Spider-Man movie. I had to know everything about it, especially with Venom coming out and everything, and then it was just like a total fiasco.
It's an all right movie.
I liked it. I really liked it. We're talking about the past Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3.
The living meme.
Toby. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I think
it's grown on people, so
I think that's the best thing. It's just the one scene where he's walking down the street being like a super like hipster. It's like that's probably the most off-putting thing about the entire movie. But the fact that they turn most of like Maguire into a meme is probably the best part about it.
Yeah, that movie, the whole trilogy's been like meme to hell and back. So yeah, it's grown on people.
Yeah, definitely. So like I said, look forward to seeing the movie. I know the panel is excited. We're all excited. Hopefully, we all see it day one, like I said. So we'll be out here discussing it and letting you know our thoughts and opinions on it.
And that bet too. I'm keeping that bet. I'm gonna clip it. We're gonna clip it.
Mark it.
I'm gonna laugh if it turns out that they're both in the movie and there are two shots.
No. The bet is that character that's in the trailer. You said is Iron Man. I'm saying is Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Call him held on that. Yep. That's it.
The character that's in the trailer.
So wait. If they're both in the movie, it's a tie, right? It's a draw.
No.
He's talking about there's one specific scene that shows somebody, and they're debating on who that person is. It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
If they're both in the movie. Because who's that person in that scene?
Yeah, because there is rumors that he's in it, but he's not that character that's in the trailer. So that's what I'm standing by.
So really, there's like it's a real rumor that Tom Cruise is going to play Iron Man.
Apparently, yes. I just learned about that today.
Tom Cruise. Like I can't see that. Like
superior Iron Man? Is that like in the comics? Was there?
Well, it's yes. In the comics, it was that there was an event called Axis where like people's moralities got flipped, and so Iron Man became evil, and that's why you have superior Iron Man. So he's kind of like
evil.
Yeah, he's like evil. But the rumor of Tom Cruise comes from the fact that he was supposed to be casted instead of Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And so that's why people are like, hey, if you're going to have the alternate Iron Man, then make it Tom Cruise, right? Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
that
a
would
lot
be
of people have
amazing.
been saying that. Yeah,
So
it'd be cool.
basically,
It'd be cool.
so Tom Cruise is just basically going to be playing himself in the movie.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty
He'll
much.
be laughing and he'll be maniacal, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll see. When blinded is wrong, he'll have to come out here and admit it.
Yeah,
We'll
I'll admit it,
make him
but
grovel.
I'll admit it. But I'm just telling you, it's Captain Marvel.
It's not like I haven't been wrong before on these predictions. But I mean, with so many people out there saying rumors and speculation and just throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks, it's really hard to tell who really actually has a source, who has an
Yeah.
inside. But we're
Well,
not
this
gonna get
person
into
has
that.
a track
That's a
record,
discussion.
so
That's
yeah.
a discussion for another day. But we want to talk about Star Trek 4, and they got no cast, gentlemen.
Yeah, this was interesting.
So
I thought this was hilarious. Like,
so apparently, the director during a Paramount, I think it was a shareholders meeting or something.
mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He basically said that a new Star Trek movie is in the works. It's going to be shot this year, released next year. But apparently, Zachary Quinto, Chris Pine, Simon Pegg, Zoe Saldana, and John Cho, they had no idea. They didn't know that the movie was happening.
Well, their agents knew about this, but they themselves did not, which is again weird.
So are they
That's
are they recasting or are they?
No,
Bringing
they're
back
supposed
the,
to be in. They're supposed to be in this movie, but they haven't entered negotiations. Like, there's no deal with them. There's not even a
Oh, okay.
director attached to this, but yet
Okay.
it's supposedly going to shoot next year, which is
I don't-
bizarre. You don't
I
do that
think
in.
it's necessary.
Well, it's not gonna
I
shoot
thought the
next year.
third one was the third one was enough. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
4. Ugh.
Well, J.J. Abrams, the producer, he said this. He said, "We are thrilled to say that we are hard at work on a new Star Trek film that will be shooting by the end of the year that will be featuring our original cast." So,
Wow, that's
Mm,
That sounds familiar. We are thrilled to say that we are hard at work. That by the end of the year, you're going to be doing something.
they're really trying to push this one out quick. And I'm not a big, huge Star Trek fan. When it came to the old sci-fi stuff, I was always the Star Wars guy. So I really don't have a lot of input. I haven't seen the 3 new Star Trek movies.
The first one was really good. It was refreshing. It was kind of a new take on the Star Trek series, which was not really always been a lot of action. So it was kind of fun.
And I
But
think that's the main point was they kind of refreshed it, right? They brought it back for Trekkies. It had been a while since they got something. But yeah, Star Trek 4, they're on their 4th one. That kind of blows my mind, seeing as I didn't see those first 3 new ones. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. Like the third one just kind of felt like it wasn't even necessary.
yeah,
Well,
the third one just was not even the same as the other two. It was
No,
weird.
the first two were good. I mean, the first one was the better one, and the second one was decent. But
Mhm.
the third one was just kind of like, okay, I have no interest in seeing a fourth. And apparently, they're not even aware they're acting in it. So,
well, for me, I don't think any of them were necessary. I mean, you're not having a new Star Trek TV show starring any of these people. You're just making movies. You really need the show. That it's not a thing that you could just pump out movies for.
Right. It works better as a series.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love the Next Generation. Like that's one of
I
my
thought-
favorite
I-
Star Trek thing.
I thought they were going to do that. I thought they were going to do a Next Generation reboot as a movie, like move on from the old cast and just like recast, the characters in that and have a movie version. I mean, that would have been more interesting, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Now see, Blinded, are you a big Trekkie fan? Because when growing up, it was, I think it's the age thing. And when I was a kid, it was always, you'd hear that music come on, and it was like, oh no, yeah. So I'm like, Star Trek, this is like adult crap. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah,
That's how
my dad got me into it, but yeah.
That's how I felt about the original one. Like it was just kind of like I remember my uncles watching it at my grandparents' house, and it was just kind of like ugh. But then as I got older and started watching The Next Generation, that one hooked me in. Like it was just so good. And at the time, the graphics were really cool. They were doing they had been doing some pure animation shit or something, and it just looked really neat and modern. And Patrick Stewart and a great cast. So that's what got me hooked in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with Days that I wasn't a big fan of the original Star Trek. Maybe again it was an age thing, but the Next Generation hit just at the right, perfect moment. I remember
Yeah.
in my area at least, it was on like Channel 50 right after all the sitcoms. Then all of a sudden, Next Generation came on.
Yeah.
Great show. Then eventually, Deep Space Nine. I love Deep Space Nine.
I only got into that one a little bit. I was getting a little bit older, and it was my interests were changing a little bit, but I still did enjoy some of that one.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek.
Really?
But back to Star Trek 4 here. They say they want to make a December 2022 or December 22nd, 2023 theatrical release. But they don't have a script. The script is still being worked on. There's no budget in place. And it says the budget will now likely have to account for talent deals that may be supersized. So all the talent in the movie, now they got Paramount over a barrel, basically. You want me in the movie? You announced me to be in the movie. You're going to have to pay me a little more. You're going to have to. So
They shot themselves in the foot with that one.
Yeah.
That's not how you negotiate. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah, this is where you just pivot and do something different with the series, with the movies or whatever. Don't even use the old cast. Just try something new.
Yeah.
It's gonna, the whole thing is gonna suck. Because they're not gonna want to do it. I'm sure they're done playing those parts a fourth time around. I mean, they seemed like the performances seemed phoned in the third one.
Right. When did they do the reboot? When did that start? Like 2009 or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
That's
After
12,
Batman,
yeah.
like after Batman, like they kind of did that.
Maybe Star Trek 4 will be the Next Generation. Just get rid of these guys.
Why not?
They've been trying to get this movie off the ground. Like, they wanted to bring back Chris Hemsworth to play his dad, Chris Pine's dad, again. And then there was supposed to be the Tarantino Star Trek movie, which, even though it sounds really dumb, I probably would have preferred watching that over this because it's different. Yeah, it's different, right? So it's like, let me see what he would do. It's probably going to be wacky and weird, but hey, whatever.
Be cool, though. It could be gold.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that got canceled, but it is what it is.
I'm not a big Tarantino fan. I know a lot of people like him and his work, but not me. I think he's overrated.
Well,
I'm more of an Adam Sandler kind of guy.
Boy.
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill.
I actually do like that movie.
That's a bad
Jesus. Oh, God.
So
I watched that ironically.
Your opinions are now moot.
When Al Pacino starts singing the Dunkachino song, greatest cinematic moment ever.
Oh, my God. That better be a joke. Oh, my God.
I think he's serious.
I think the last good Sandler movie that I seen, and it wasn't really even that great, was the Bedtime Stories. I thought that was pretty good, but
those were good for a family movie. I could watch that with my family, and it was like not completely just offensive to my eyes.
He's a good actor, though, but like the material he picks.
Well, he's just like, there was, I don't know if you ever watch RLM, Red Letter Media, but they have
I do.
They have a theory that Adam Sandler is making those movies like as
for
a
vacation,
like as a scam.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, I totally believe that.
He's putting all his friends in it, and they're like barely even trying, and they're just and they're hits because so many people love those movies without, I would, for some reason.
Red Letter Media is great, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we recommend you check them out after checking us out. But that's all I have to say about Star Trek having no cast. It's going to be interesting to see if any of these actors actually say, "Hey, I don't want to be in the movie. I'm not going to do it."
Yep.
Moving on, Street Fighter 6 recently was announced. We don't know much about it, but we got some teaser trailer. We're looking at a picture here of an old Ryu. He's kind of older. He's got his little beard. It looks to be taking place after Street Fighter 5. The timeline's all weird because you got 1, 2, then I think it's what, 4,
I've lost track at this
5,
point.
then 3.
Yep.
Yeah, I stopped playing a little while ago, or a while ago actually.
5 was not good.
Yeah,
Wow.
you know, the last one I delved into is 4, and I thoroughly enjoyed 4. I really wish they weren't going to go this route. I wish they would go back to a like hand drawn or modern
Sprite-based.
retro style. Yeah,
Yeah.
sprite based. I think they really could get a lot of detail going that route. Whereas I'm just kind of tired of the the 3D models and the ultra realistic graphics. I think that time has kind of passed. I think 4 was fantastic. A lot of people hated 5. I didn't personally play it, but it looked like it was a mess. And I kind of wish they'd just go back to that older style.
Well, 5 was a mess because it was just so many things was wrong with that game. Like the
Right.
characters came out at a slow pace. It was exclusive to PlayStation which is dumb. Like that's how you kill a multiplayer game, is making it exclusive.
Right.
And overall, just like for the last
Well,
couple of years, Capcom's been sucking with these fighting games, like their main fighting games.
Well, they're becoming like they're becoming like Konami. I think a lot of effort has kind of just gone away since the 360 days. They just are not putting effort into their games as much anymore. And like you said, there was a reason why PlayStation got that exclusive, because before 5 came out, everybody was talking. I mean, this wasn't true, but a lot of the fans were like, it was pointless to play on Xbox. Everybody plays on PlayStation 5, and I think that's kind of why, they part of the reason why they got that exclusive, the exclusive version of it there for a while. But I just definitely see this series needs to go back to its roots. I think a lot of people would be okay with that, especially when you look at some of the more popular games like BlazBlue and the Persona fighting game, and a lot of there's a lot of King of the Fighters. I think had a recent one that came out that was more retro style, or
what's that other series that people love? Like I'm gonna have to Google it.
I'm trying to think, because I've played most of them. Like the Neo Geo. I haven't really seen what fighting wise what's come out lately, but or Guilty Gear, is that what you're thinking of?
Guilty Gear, yeah.
So
that series is popular.
Right. I just really wish they'd go and go back to that old style, or at least they need to start doing I know it's going to be a ways away if they can make it happen, but like a Marvel versus Capcom again, I think they really need to go back to their roots. And
Infinite was bad. It was really bad.
Well, 3 was bad, pretty bad too.
It was, but not as bad. Not as bad.
Right. I mean, 3 was well received, but they mucked it up big time.
Yeah, I used to be a huge Street Fighter fan, huge fan of the Marvel vs. Capcom, the whole series. They kind of been mucking it up, as Gary says. Street Fighter 5 is trash. Street Fighter 3 started it off with the whole become trash route. Everything is. It seems that they're trying to make games more for the competitive scene instead of just making fun games. Like, we gotta make sure that it's going to be at.
That's a shame.
Some tournaments. What the hell? The big fighting tournaments.
And then nobody even plays them. That's the funny thing. It's like these new games don't even get that much traction there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even remember what they call the what you're talking about, Tony. But
Evo.
they
Evo.
yeah,
Yeah, Evo,
Evo.
yeah.
There you go. But they do. I think if this is why people switched to, like, for a while. They people were playing Dragon Ball Z Fighters. I don't know if they're still playing that. That was a fantastic game. They just really need to go back to their roots. They need to establish themselves as the king. The kings of the fighting game industry. It's just they've lost touch with their original selves, and it'd
Their
be great to
roots.
their
Yeah.
roots. It'd be great to see them go back. And pixel art is not dead. In fact, I think
No.
you can squeeze more attention to detail out of a game like that than going 3D and going with all these fancy graphics and stuff like that. But from the trailer, it looks like the way they're going to go. It doesn't look like they're going to go like a hand-drawn style or pixel art. So I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, there was some controversy with this reveal though with the logo, because a lot of people thought it was generic, and then people did some digging, and then they found out that it was stock art. And I mean, a lot of people, like I saw Review Tech USA. I don't have nothing against him, but like he posted a video claiming that them using stock art was plagiarism. It's like, no. Like, yeah, it looks generic and cheap to use stock art, but once you pay for a license to use it, that's not plagiarism. So,
No, not at all.
yeah, so it was just like, and his whole videos was just talking about it. It wasn't in the thumbnail. So it was like, come on, dude, like do some research.
I think it's more so that he just feels like they're out of touch. I think Rich
Yeah.
is maybe not conveying the point right, but I think he feels like a lot of fans feel. I think that they've just lost what they used to be. It just doesn't feel like Street Fighter like it used to. I think 4 was like the last good game, and even like all the iterations of that were pretty solid. But going forward, 5 was it was just a mess within the community. Nobody was really happy with that. So to see it stay in its 3D models and all that stuff. I know people want their ultra realistic look to the games, but I really think they could hit a home run if they went back, like Dave said, went back to their roots, and then just do a modern retro. People would love it, man. People would love it.
I would much rather play that than this too ultra realistic. That's not what Street Fighter was to me. I was always Street Fighter 2 was where I left off of the series. I haven't played it after that. Like, so it would be amazing to go back to more of a throwback.
And it's just like I see all of these companies just kind of sticking with, most of like the newer fighting games that are coming out are just kind of done in this, pixel art style. I don't know why they wouldn't join it, why they're still trying to be different. And I mean, it was great for 4 when it came out because it was just kind of a new direction, and it still had that artistic flair behind it that looked really good. But at this point, if they're still trying to do stuff like 4 and 5, it's starting to become
stale.
They need to change. Stale. They need to change it up.
Well,
it's Capcom. They always do this.
Speaking of stale and changing it up, I know one of the big controversies with 3 was that they changed it up way too much. People were upset that most of the original cast from Street Fighter 2 was gone, replaced by new people that they had no idea who they were. Eventually, they had to start bringing back some of the older characters in the updates for 3. So it'll be real interesting to see if Street Fighter 6 decides to ditch most of the old cast, keep just a few key people like Ken and Ryu, and go the route of all the new characters, because there were several new characters in the Street Fighter 5 DLC that we hadn't seen before. They're not in Street Fighter 3, which takes place in the future. So it'll be interesting to see who stays. Obviously, Luke, I believe that's his name, is in the trailer, the teaser. So he's obviously making the cut, making the jump to the next game. But it'd be interesting to see who else goes. I know Poison was in the was DLC. Akira from Rival Schools was DLC in 5. I mean, Capcom has a large fighting game catalog that they can pull from to put characters in that'll fit within this universe. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's a lot of Saturday Night Slam Master characters that I'd love to see in a Street Fighter game. So, any predictions on how they're going to go in that direction as far as characters? How many? New, old? What do you guys think?
I mean, what was the roster size of 5 by the end of it? Well, okay, first of all, what was the roster size of 5 when it initially released, and then what was it after all the DLC and characters that they had? I mean, did they start off basically at like small, and then like was it really tight and focused? Because that's the big thing here, right?
Here it is. You ready for it? The base roster for Street Fighter V was Birdie, Cammy, Chun-Li, Dalsim, Fang, Karen, Ken, Laura, M. Bison, Nash, Nakali, R. Micah, Rashid, Ryu, Vega, and Zangief. That's it.
So that's about
was one of
16 characters.
Okay, one of the characters' name was Karen.
Yeah, Karen.
What kind of name is that for a Street Fighter game? Karen.
Not Karen.
Like actual, like a real Karen. That's like I'm going to call your manager.
Not Karen.
Like
it's Karen with an I. So Corinne.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they'll probably come close. So if that was about 16, I think they'd be safe to sit on maybe 20 characters, and then probably release another. And I hate this. I hate when fighting games do this DLC stuff. I just want everything at launch and it all to be buttoned up and ready to go. Because the more they have to tinker with the game.
I disagree. Here's why. Let's say that they just went with those 16 characters. That's who they had ready at launch. You don't think a year later they're like, hey, you know what? People are still playing the game. Instead of charging $60 for a brand new game, we can charge them $15 and we'll give them 8 new characters. You don't think that's a good point? Idea?
I think the problem is though they kind of like nickel and dime people, especially with this last game.
Yeah,
where it was just like
here's the thing. Yeah. Here's the thing. If they do it, and I know it's going to piss a lot of people off, if they do it and intentionally hold back characters, it'll work out. I think in the long run. Having it all done at once, I know that's a big task, but it's a balancing issue, right?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Gary, when you said intentionally hold back characters.
Right.
And the argument would be: do you believe that they held back those 30 characters, or do you believe that they?
I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, look. Well, look.
The Capcom has done that before.
With Marvel vs. Capcom 3, initially when that came out, they held back Shuma Gorath and they held back Jill Valentine.
They were on the game and then they just removed them. So it was just like,
So, and back then, you got to understand that DLC was kind of a new thing. So people getting cut content did piss you off. But when you really think of it in the grand scheme of things, as long as these characters are ready to go, see, because I don't think they have the quality of like what a Sakurai can do. Sakurai was good at adding characters and making sure everything was kind of well balanced to an extent, right? There were still tiers. I mean, obviously there's going to be tiers in every fighting game, but if they can do it and hold it back and make everything cohesive, I'm okay with it. They start adding in things that like, oh, this was a second thought, then the gameplay is going to suffer. It's really hard to handle because you got people on both sides, right? You want all your content on launch, and people hate to have to pay another $10, $20 for those characters. But I understand what you're saying, Tony, because right, if that can extend the life of the game, I'm all for it. But we do know that Capcom likes to release these iterations, right? They like to do that where they'll release the version, then 6 months later, a year later, they're giving you those 8 characters. Then another 6 months later, they're giving you the full version, and then another 6 months later, they're going to give you an ultimate version. So it's like, who knows with Capcom?
Yeah, like I said, I think it all goes into execution and intent.
Right.
If they're cutting characters with the intent to nickel and dime you later on, I think that's a terrible practice. But if they're giving you, like, this is our vision for the game, 20 characters, and then later on down the road, they're like, hey, you know what? We can make 6 more characters or 10 more or whatever. I think that's fine. in my opinion. More content is always good. I always take that. But I think there is a balancing act between, holding things back intentionally, cutting things, knowing that you're going to make DLC versus organically going, hey, the game's a hit.
Yeah.
We can add more characters. We can.
Yeah, it's definitely like
Yeah.
you said there. What's their intentions? Like you doing it for the right reasons, or you doing it for selfish, greedy reasons?
Or sometimes they don't even support the game after launch. Look at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. They just dropped it right when
Nothing.
all this nothing. Yeah, it was like really
I guess
embarrassing.
Well,
It's
they had-
nice
they
to
had
have the
like, wow.
option. It's nice to have the option. of
Sure, but they
DLC if you're
dropped the game,
enjoying the
though.
game. Yeah, I know. So I'm saying like
Well, that
that's
was all
terrible.
that had to do with licensing issues too, didn't it? I mean, they felt
No,
like
I think it was
Yeah.
the game. The game underperformed, and I think Marvel was like, "This is pretty bad," because Infinity War just came out, and they were just like, "Yeah, we're gonna pull the plug on it." But I think that's Capcom's fault to begin with. You made a really bad game. Like the game was really bad.
From my understanding, and again, this is just my understanding of the situation. Marvel / Disney basically went to Capcom and was like, "You can't use the X-Men characters. You can't use this character, that character. We want
Yeah,
you to put in
Wow.
Captain Marvel. We want you to put in." I think that they even dictated the release date, so
Right,
they kind of
and
rushed them.
the
That's why some of the
restrictions.
characters were using models from the previous game.
but the game was dead. Like the game came out September 2017, and it was dead by like 2018 January.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely
you know what I
did.
mean?
Yeah,
Awful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I didn't even buy it, and I
Like-
loved Marvel vs. Capcom series.
and so do
Yeah.
I. I didn't buy it either, and that's what I mean when Capcom really needs to get back to their roots. They really need to reestablish themselves as like the king of the fighters. Like basically take that the
Mhm.
crown back, because I think a lot
Yeah.
of people have kind of moved and enjoyed Mortal Kombat more so than Capcom in the
Yeah,
in recent
NetherRealm.
years.
In general, NetherRealm in general has been killing it. Like Injustice and Mortal Kombat, they're leagues better than the modern Street Fighter.
And I mean, look at how they're doing their DLC, right? You're adding in like
Way better.
iconic characters like Terminator and like Freddy Krueger
Mhm.
got into the
That's
mix, and it
cool,
was it was just like everybody's dream to have these characters kind of in there. I mean, you had at one point people were suggesting that Shaggy or Scooby Doo be in the Mortal Kombat. I mean, that's how much like
Yeah.
people have transitioned over, I think, to that series, and they need to reestablish themselves as the fighting game to be playing, and they haven't done
And the
it in
story
recent
mode
years,
is good too
right? Yeah,
for both of those games. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
I've
Injustice too.
I've actually
I'll
played
say,
some of the newer Mortal Kombats, but I have not tried any of the newer Street Fighters.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
just about to say I've played Mortal Kombat 10 and 11, and I was never a big fan of Mortal Kombat. I hate having to
No.
push a button. Pushing a button to block was always counterintuitive to me. It's always just hold back. Every other game is hold back,
right.
except for Mortal Kombat. So I was always adverse to Mortal Kombat, but these new ones have definitely hit it out of the park versus the newer Capcom Street Fighter games, which
Definitely.
have fallen flat.
Well, even when you look at like their ports, like I picked up that the 20th anniversary collection or whatever it is for the Switch, the blue boxed one, and it was like poorly put together. I mean, there were a lot of like bugs, and I just think they're a company that's kind of not, they're money hungry, I guess, so to speak, and they just don't have the same passion they put into those games for 20 some odd years, and it's just kind of falling apart. I mean, these companies need to get it together. They need to get their act together and deliver a game that fans will be playing for more than a year, more than 2 years, 3 years. And like you said, deliver some DLC that's really going to keep people, wanting to come back for more.
And I will say that if they make a new Marvel vs. Capcom type series, Capcom really got to stop shoehorning in characters that have no business to be in a fighting game. Okay, give us people from Darkstalkers, from your other fighting games. I don't need Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins, Firebrand.
That was funny.
I don't know. I was a big Zero fan though, man. Marvel versus Capcom 3. I was a big Zero fan. I loved his moveset.
Like I said, not Marvel. Capcom has so many fighting games and beat 'em ups that they can grab characters from.
Yeah.
It's completely unnecessary to grab characters from other genres and put them in there.
How was it playing as Arthur? Was he not? Did his moves?
He
suck?
was actually. I think he was actually a top tier character, wasn't he? I believe those his special or whatever was at least from what I remember. But that was not the he wasn't in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? He was in the one that came after that.
Infinite.
Was that no? But hold on, there was another one in between, wasn't there? There's 3 Marvel vs.
It was just updated. It was like, yeah.
But wasn't there one after that was terrible?
No, yeah. It was Ultimate 3.
Ultimate, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully Street Fighter 6 doesn't let us down. Hopefully we get a good mix of new and old characters. They move the story forward because Street Fighter always had the better story than Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, at least in the beginning. Then they kind of went off the rails and just got batshit insane with the whole like evil spirit energy and stuff. And not a lot of hope for this. I used to love the series.
It's gone downhill.
Yeah. A lot of my favorite series growing up, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, they've let me down as of late.
Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see.
Capcom and Square Enix are kind of a joke now, to be honest.
Yeah, Konami too. I think Castlevania's gotten the bad treatment. So
yeah. So hopefully they get their act together. They disregard Evo. Give us some sexy characters. Don't cover up our Micah's butt just because somebody at Evo might be offended. Okay.
Oh.
Tired of that shit. They actually removed the jiggle.
What? No jiggle physics?
Yeah, on the loading screen, like the character would jiggle, and they removed it because of Evo from Street Fighter 5, if I'm not mistaken.
When's the last time they did a Dead or Alive game?
No.
Like 2016, I think. It's fairly recent.
How about we bring back Clay Fighters?
Oh Lord.
Oh God.
All right. I think that's the end of Street Fighter 6 discussion.
Well, we talked about that one for a good amount of time, longer than I thought we would have.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on over to the final topic of the evening. Maybe you've never heard of Plex Arcade, but if you just heard about it now, unfortunately, it is going away.
It's too late.
This was a streaming service where you could supposedly stream ROMs of games that you owned to any device. It launched on January of 2021, and March 31st of this year is going to be the end of it. So just a little over a year.
Wow.
It was it's called Plex Arcade. It had pre-installed Atari games. Apparently, it was very buggy, very laggy, just a total mess, from my understanding. I remember hearing about it and just kind of disregarding it. It wasn't really an interesting topic. But what are your thoughts on this, gentlemen? Did you hear about this before? Is this the first time you've heard about it when I brought it up to your attention?
Yeah. So I looked it up a little bit, and I wasn't aware of Plex Arcade. And really, in this day and age, with emulation and all that other stuff, it just kind of seemed kind of maybe if this was 10 years ago, or it might have been a cutting edge. They might have been able to thrive for a few years, but it seems kind of pointless in today's day and age. So I had never heard of it until you brought it up.
Yeah, me neither. But it does sound like that they didn't. The article I read didn't paint them as a very flattering. That they didn't even do what they said. They didn't actually set out to be able to do what they said they were going to be able to do. I don't
Yeah, there
remember
was no
exactly,
save
but
states, laggy. You
Yeah.
couldn't remap your controllers.
yeah,
Basically, what it had promised was basically to emulate games. You would put ROMs in, and then you'd be able to emulate classic games on any device. So you'd be able to play on your mobile phone or your laptop, your computer, or whatever, what have you, tablet. It was $5 a month for free for people who had Plex, the free Plex. If you had Plex Pass, it was $3 a month still. So the price wasn't too expensive for what it was, and if it worked, it would actually be pretty good. Basically, it's like PiePacker, but it doesn't work. So imagine PiePacker, but like a shittier version, and that's what Plex Arcade was.
wow.
Right, and that's the thing with the emulation, with you being able to mod almost anything these days. I mean, hell, you can get, and we don't condone piracy here, but I mean, you can get in today's day and age. It's amazing that you can get Switch games, basically when they release. If that,
That is
if that's
crazy.
Or even
if that's
before.
your right, if that's your thing, if you're into pirating things and not paying for them, but this seems like something that might have been able to work at like Tony said, it runs smoothly, and I really think they just were in the wrong time. I mean, if this is something 10 years ago, this probably could have been bigger, but in today's day and age, it just doesn't make sense with everything that's available on the market right now.
Well,
It's interesting.
if they
It's
couldn't get it to
interesting.
work nowadays, Gary, how are they going to get it to work 10 years ago?
Well, and that's the thing. It just was never a great move. It was never a great decision to kind of go forward with this. So that's the point.
Yeah, it was dumb.
It's interesting when you put this company like up next to, like you said, PiePacker, when it's a similar idea, but just the execution and the way that the company is ran. One is doing it right and being successful, while the other one is closing up doors after a year.
Well, to be fair, PiePacker did get a big angel investment from Lego, I believe.
True, that is true. But even still, they're just like, would that other company have squandered that money? Would Plex Arcade even have been able to do what PiePacker is doing?
Probably,
possibly
maybe.
You think? Okay.
Well, they have Plex.
Because I mean, they're
pretty well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, like this seems like what Netflix is doing right now. Like Netflix is trying to test out putting games on their streaming service. It'll probably be more successful, but the games are like really crappy. They're like mobile games, so I think they're gonna test the water and see. I mean, all these like giant companies are trying to get into this, and it's like it's failing. Like Google Stadia is a joke. It's an absolute joke.
I think, and that's the key takeaway is that this cloud gaming, I don't think is gonna. It's not gonna catch on. It's not going to be the future, and if these companies didn't learn from the Google Stadia, then
I disagree.
The only ones that will. Okay.
I think cloud gaming is the future, but it's not the near future. It's the far, far future.
Well, right. I think they really got to get it down. Right. They have to,
Well, I was going to say that it's not that the cloud gaming is a problem. It's the fact that these companies that aren't established in the industry, they're not the ones that are going to do it. It's going to be Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. Like, because they're the established ones and they have consoles. So it's like, hey, a consumer is more likely to be like, I'm going to go play Game Pass on the cloud because I have an Xbox, right? Same thing with PlayStation.
Well, in the future, too, Microsoft...
Are you telling me that people who own consoles are more likely to buy video games than non-gamers?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to say that the cloud version of what you're getting, because what Stadia was trying to do is you can play this on your browser, on your phone, out wherever, right? And it's just like, but you have to pay a hefty subscription to even get it running, and sometimes it doesn't work. And then you have to pay for the games, right? So it's like that's a dumb service because people are just paying exorbitant amount of money for nothing, right? If the servers go down, you have nothing, right? So it's like people will buy into cloud when they know that, hey, if something goes wrong, I still have the physical product attached to it, or I have the subscription that I know isn't going to go down, like Netflix or Game Pass. Like that's just how I see it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was just trying to make a joke about the
Joke
Amico.
there.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. He
Yeah, it
didn't-
went over my
he-
head then.
He didn't catch that.
I was wondering.
Yeah, I went over my head.
But you do make a good point, and I think this is, obviously physical will be dead in the near future. It sucks, but yeah, for these reasons that I just don't see cloud gaming working right now. But like Tony said, I think that given give them some time, give them some kind of incentive. They will give the gamer some kind of incentive to move towards that media in the future. The time is just not now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, technology is going to move forward. It's going to get better. It's going to improve. The whole idea of the internet. We started out with dial-up. People thought that was, that was it. Of course, it's not. We've gone beyond it. Fiber optic cables and all that. We're going to get better. It's going to go. Eventually, we're going to get those little implants in our heads, and we're going to get Google right to our brain. We probably won't
not.
be alive to see it, but I'm sure it's going to happen. So, any other thoughts on Plex Arcade before we wrap things up, gentlemen?
Not really. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
You were
Rip.
you will severely be missed.
I'm sure.
Well, gentlemen, I think that's it for this episode of Gabbing with Geeks. We had some fun. We had some laughs. We discussed a few topics, and wow, we got it done in a very smooth hour and a half.
Record timing.
So we might add a couple more topics next week. Damn it, now I got a coughing fit right at the end. All of a sudden I start coughing. So next week we might expand to a couple of additional topics. We started this week with, what was it, 5, 6 as a trial run. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed the show. And hopefully if you're watching us live on YouTube and not on Anchor.fm, you'll join us for the after show, which will be starting in about 15 minutes. So thank you all for watching us live. Thank you for listening to us on podcast. Thank you for being a part of the panel, gentlemen. And that's the end of this.